everybody, and welcome back to another video. I know, I haven't abandoned YouTube yet, although there is still time for that. I thought I would do something a little bit different, a very quick video. I'm doing a setup tour to show you just my setup, because I recently made some changes to it, and I'm, for once, actually quite happy with how it looks. So let's have a look around. So, one of the most important parts of any setup is the desk on which it resides. I actually have two here, but let's look at this one because this one's the oldest one. This is a desk that I got from IKEA back in 2018, 2019, and it actually comes with a set of drawers which are somewhat mismatched and not closing properly because they're absolutely chock full of stuff. And then I've got these two little drawers here. It's a lovely desk, it's a very big desk, but it's a lovely desk and it fits everything that I need on it. And over here we've got another desk. This is actually a more recent addition compared to this one. The reason why I got this desk is because it came with a shelf. Now, I have loads of figures, as you can see here, and originally I didn't have anywhere to put them. They were all just sort of spread across my desk, and it sounds like a good idea in theory, but the problem with that is it made everything look very cluttered. It didn't look like it had a proper, place. So I thought, I'll get a side desk, because it means I can fit my laptop and my tablet on it and stuff, but it also means I have a place to put all of my figures. Let's have a quick look. As you can tell, I've got quite a lot of figures, and not all of them actually match. So I've got Kat from Halo Reach up here. God bless her soul, rest in peace. And down here I've got this is sort of my pink shelf. I've got like a lot of Sanrio characters, so I've got like My Melody, Kuromi, stuff like that. I've also got Lumin from Genshin Impact, a game that I haven't played in fucking years, but you know. And then down here, this is sort of my more, I don't know, like neutral section. So I've got Master Chief from Halo, obviously, Darth Vader, Deckard from Blade Runner, the Breaking Bad RV, like a Lego set that I got from for my birthday from my partner last year. Then we've got Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows. We've got Ray from Star Wars. We've got David Pumpkins from that one Saturday Night Live sketch. Any questions? And then some like little troll that my partner got me from Norway in like 2016. And then down here we've just got some more like Sanrio characters and some other figures that I've got from shops over the years. Now, let's go to the second most important part of a setup, or the most important part of a setup, depending on how you look at things, and that's the computer. Now, some of you might actually recognise this computer. If you've watched the video that I made a few years ago when I first returned back to YouTube, there was a brief glimpse of my computer in it when I get up from my bed and go onto my desk. I'll put the clip in now. Now, this looks like the same computer, but it kind of isn't, but it also is at the same time. Let me explain. So the PC in that video is one that I got off of a website called eBuy. Yes, it was a pre-built. It came with a i5 10600K, 16 gigabytes of RAM, all fairly respectable specs, and it was a perfectly good computer. Until it stopped being a perfectly good computer. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, and I'm not talking about performance or anything like that. The computer performed with it perfectly well with everything that I threw at it. But there was one slight issue. I was having some really bad stability issues. It was fine for the first sort of year or so, but then as time went on, I started having more and more issues with it. I was getting random crashes, my XMP profile on my memory just stopped working for some reason, and then even loading up a game like Minecraft was enough to make the system crash. Now, I tried everything that I could to fix this issue. I reinstalled Windows, I backdated the drivers, I swapped out my RAM, I did everything, and it still didn't help. And it got to the point where I was having so many performance issues that I actually had to stop using my desktop as a computer and started using my laptop as a desktop replacement. And that is not a very ideal situation. So it got to the point where I was so frustrated with this, I looked in my savings and I put a list together on Amazon of PC parts, and I bought some PC parts to upgrade my computer. So let's have a look at what I've got now. So there are only 3 parts from this PC that are brought over from my last system. That is the case, obviously, the hard drives down the bottom because they store all of my videos and stuff on it, and the graphics card. So in this PC, and I've actually got the box right here, I've got a Ryzen 9 7900X, which is a pretty big upgrade from my old i5. 12 cores, 24 threads. It's not necessarily something to be snuffed at. And that is on a MSI, or if I can remember the name, B840 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. And that is being cooled by a Corsair iCUE H100i 240mm liquid cooler, which is definitely needed because this CPU gets really hot. Like, not dangerously hot, but it gets hot. And then I've got a Asus ROG Strix RTX 3070. Now, I do want to upgrade it at some point. I'm not necessarily sure with who I'm going to go for yet. I can either go for AMD or I can stay with NVIDIA. If I do stay with NVIDIA, I'm probably going to get something like a 5070 Ti because I actually upgraded the power supply on this computer from 750 watts, which probably would have been fine for this processor and GPU, to 1000 watts. So I've got a little bit of upgradability. I've got like a little bit of headroom to upgrade my parts in the future. And then lastly is the case, which is a NZXT H511, I believe. I know that there's a H510 which has USB-C on the top, but this one doesn't have USB-C, it just has USB type A. And this little thing up here is just the Wi-Fi antenna for the motherboard. Even though I don't really use the Wi-Fi, I do use the antenna because it gives my PC Bluetooth, and that's quite important for using a wireless Xbox controller. I could plug this in and use it like that, but I really can't be bothered. So I only use that for Bluetooth. I actually have it wired into an I actually have an Ethernet cable coming out the bottom, which goes all the way around, all the way up here, over the door to my bathroom, all the way down, and then goes into the router in the hallway, which is actually something that I upgraded recently as well. But those are the routers there that my ISP provided me. So when I first moved into this flat in 2021, I opted for a 150 megabyte up and down fiber package, which was perfectly good at the time. When I lived at home with my parents, I was getting about 30 up and down, so that seemed like super fast to me. And that was on a 12-month contract. Once that 12-month contract expired, I never renewed it, so we got put on like a monthly rolling contract, which basically means you're not actually committed to anything, but you have to pay a little bit more, and that served us quite well up until recently when I went on my ISP's website and looked at their packages and realised for £10 more I could get 1 gigabyte up and down. So I did that, but then I realised that the Wi-Fi router we had, the big one on top that we had provided by our ISP, was only Wi-Fi 5, and obviously with Wi-Fi 5 you don't get as fast up and down speeds over Wi-Fi. Obviously over Ethernet the PC was fine, but everything else was running at about 500 meg up and down. Now for most people that would have been fine, but I'm one of those people that I'd be like, no, I want my full performance. So I messaged our ISP and I was like, hey, can you send us a new router that has Wi-Fi 6 so I can take advantage of my full Wi-Fi speeds? And they're like, yeah, we can do that. So I got the new Wi-Fi router last week, I plugged it in, I set it up, and I did a speed test on my phone, and I was getting worse performance over Wi-Fi than our old router. I looked up on Reddit, I looked up the model name, and they said, yeah, it's just a bad router. So I thought, do you know what, I'll fork out, I'll buy a new router, and now I'm getting about 800 up and down on Wi-Fi, which is, it's not to be snuffed at. Anyway, back to the main part, which is the setup. So next, let's have a look at this. This is my keyboard. This is, let me turn the shutter speed up so you can actually, don't have to deal with the flickering. So this is my keyboard. It is a Epomaker Ajazz AK820 Pro. Now, I actually used to have a Razer Black Widow, one of the ones with the clicky keys, and that was a really good keyboard, and I love that keyboard, up until there was a slight issue. So the reason why I changed my keyboard from something clicky to this, which is not clicky, is because right next door is my partner's room. And what would happen sometimes is, because occasionally I work night shifts, so what I like to do the night before I have a night shift is stay up late and then get up late the next day so I can sort of jumpstart my sleeping schedule into a night shift thing. And what I'll often do is sit on my computer playing games and typing. But the problem is my partner could hear my keyboard clicking in the other room and would be kept up all night. So I thought I'm going to buy a new keyboard. I wanted to buy a new keyboard anyway because my Black Widow has a numpad on it, and I wanted the 75% keyboard because they just look a little bit cleaner. So I bought this, and you know what? Despite it being cheaper than my Razer Black Widow, it's actually a really good keyboard. So this has got linear gift switches in it, which sounds really nice to type on. It's even got a little screen, look at that. It's got a little screen on it, and you can cycle through the settings in it if you want. And it's also wireless. It does have USB-C on the back, so you can plug it in and just use it as a USB keyboard if you're sort of worried about latency. But if I'm honest, I've never really had any latency issues with it. Yeah, it's a really good keyboard. It retails on Amazon for about 70 quid. So it is a little bit pricey, but it is a really good keyboard. I think I actually got it on a sale, so I don't remember paying that much for it. But yeah, it's a really good keyboard. And one of my favorite features of this keyboard, let's see if I can do this one-handed without breaking anything, guarantee that I will, is you can hot swap the key switches. Now I don't mean the key caps, I mean the actual switches themselves. You can swap the switches. This is my first ever keyboard where you can literally just take out the key switches and swap them for something else. I've always had keyboards that don't allow you to do that. I'm just gonna have to put this back in quickly. So yes, that is my keyboard. Next to it is my mouse. Now this is my Razer Viper Quartz edition. As you can see, it's quite pink and also quite dirty. This bit on the side is actually very difficult to clean, and as you can see, I've used it so much it's actually started to wear down on the rubber, so I will definitely be due an upgrade for that soon. But yeah, it's a perfectly good mouse. It's wired. I might go for a wireless mouse just so I can kind of match this whole aesthetic of no cables, and also I might get like a white one to match the keyboard because this is obviously not pink, that's just white. Next is my monitor, and if I go on my Amazon list here, I have this. It's an LG Ultragear 27-inch monitor, runs at 1440p at 144 Hz. This was my first ever high refresh rate display, and oh my god, going from 60 Hz to 144 Hz was genuinely it was like going from 30 FPS to 60 FPS. It was genuinely amazing. It looks brilliant, it's got good colors on it. It's not the brightest, and it doesn't like support modern features like HDR and stuff, but it's still a brilliant monitor. Now next are my speakers. These I've had these for years. I've had these since about, I think, the summer of 2018, just after I got my first job. I bought these with my first or second paycheck because I was using some like old dodgy speakers. These are amazing. These are the Edifier R1280DB. These are brilliant speakers. They still make them. They've updated them recently, so you can still actually get them. In fact, actually they're here. They've recently refreshed them. They are brilliant speakers, and I would recommend them for anyone who's looking for a good budget pair of bookshelf speakers. And they sound amazing. They've stood the test of time. I actually have another pair of Edifier speakers in our living room because I love how they sound. In fact, let's give you a little sound test. So yeah, they sound pretty good. Obviously YouTube compression and obviously the quality of the microphone on my camera is gonna make it sound a little bit different, but you know, you get a rough idea of how good it sounds. Also, worth mentioning, I also have some RGB LEDs that go on the back of my monitor and the back of my desk that actually come from over here because I have RGB on my bedside table, and in here this is just where I sort of keep all my camera stuff, and the controller for it is here, so I can switch it on and off when I'm in bed. And these are also kind of smart. They can connect to my Wi-Fi network, and then you can open up an app on your phone and turn them on and off and control them from your phone, which is actually pretty good. So moving downwards, over here we've got a little thingy down here. Now what's this? This is a Fiio K3, I believe. It's a USB DAC and amplifier. I plug my headphones into this, and my speakers are also wired into them because I've had bad luck with onboard audio on computers. I just think onboard audio just sounds crap, regardless of how many times motherboard manufacturers advertise how amazing their onboard audio is. It always sucks in some way, shape or form. So I've got this. It's really powerful. It can power pretty good headphones. I had Audio Technica headphones for a while and it made them sound really good. You've got gain and bass control on it, just really good. Speaking of headphones, I've got these are Razer Kraken, I believe. Razer Kraken headset. I don't use the microphone on it obviously, but these are really comfortable. I did have a pair of Audio-Technica headphones, as I said before, and I was reluctant to let them go, but they were literally falling apart. So I got my partner actually got me these as a Christmas present, and yeah, they are really comfortable. They are very pink, which I quite like. The cat ears are removable, by the way. They didn't come with it, but yeah. And it sits on this little stand over here. And yeah, they're actually really good headphones. They're really comfortable. The bass on them is absolutely amazing. Obviously, you're not going to want to use them for like audio mixing or if you want a neutral sound, but I quite like a bass-heavy sound on my headphones, so those work perfectly. And next to it is something you've seen on the channel already, which is my Rode NT USB, which is what I use for sort of all my narration and stuff. Really good microphone. I've already explained why it's a great microphone on my previous video, explaining why I'm back. But yeah, brilliant microphone. And next to it is my laptop, which is a Razer Blade 14 2021. This is the best laptop I've ever had. I don't care what people say about Razer's, you know, pricing or reliability. It's a great laptop. It works great. It's got a Ryzen 9 5900 HX, I believe, in it, and an RTX 3070. So very similar actually to the specs of my PC. It's a brilliant laptop. Few issues. It's only got 16 gigabytes of RAM, which doesn't sound like bad, but nowadays I think 32 gigabytes is more becoming the norm, and you cannot upgrade the RAM. It's soldered onto the motherboard, and it's also kind of hard to upgrade the SSD because of the amount of space they have in it. But you know, it's still a perfectly good laptop. I have a little mouse there for when I want to use it, and yeah, it's a brilliant little laptop. And then next to it I've got my tablet, which is I believe it's a Galaxy Tab S9 FE. Got this from EE when I saw it on their website, and it comes with a SIM, so it has its own phone plan, so I get a multi-plan discount. Brilliant little tablet. I don't really use it that much at home, but when I'm at work, I work 12-hour shifts, so to pass the time when nothing's happening, I'll use this to like watch YouTube or Netflix or something, and it's actually a really good tablet. And finally over here I've just got some random knickknacks, including this, which is a SSD, like an NVMe SSD enclosure. The reason why I have this is when I upgraded my motherboard, I obviously bought a new SSD, and I didn't want to deal with backing everything up from my old SSD to my new one, so I just thought, oh, I'll get an enclosure, and then I can plug it in to USB-C. Got USB-C on the back of the motherboard there, and it just plugs in, and anything I need from it, I can just transfer from there. So thank you for watching this video. I'm pretty sure I covered everything that was important about my setup, and if I didn't, I'll be sure to put something in the comments if I left anything out. If you have any questions about my setup, just drop them in the comments and I will respond. So yeah, thank you for watching this very quick and somewhat disjointed video. I just wanted to make something because I've got work tonight and I'm just bored. So yeah, thank you for watching and goodbye.